Hello and welcome to another installment of Liberty Nation's Swamponomics videocast. I'm Andrew Moran, Ellen's economics correspondent. Each week, I dive into the morass of top economic news stories and fish out compelling narratives, or I retrieve fallacies that have been accepted as conventional wisdom by the swamp creatures for years. This week, Australia and China, the other trade war. For years, China has served as Australia's largest and most important trading partner, with Beijing importing 40% of the nation's merchandise exports. Iron ore is one of the most lucrative trades as China acquires more than 80% of Australia's iron ore inventories. This is followed by many different commodities, from barley to wheat to coal. In total, annual bilateral trade tops $170 billion. That's some spicy shrimp on the barbie. But that may soon be water under the bridge in the land down under. Maybe. In April 2020, Prime Minister Scott Morrison recommended launching a global coronavirus inquiry to better understand the respiratory illness's origins, and his hunch turned out to be correct, since it was later verified that Chinese officials lied about COVID-19 and employed measures to suppress the severity of the coronavirus. This prompted an immediate reaction from China, leading to a tit-for-tat verbal dispute between both sides. It became so bad that the Chinese government warned citizens against studying and visiting Australia because of racism and discrimination against Asian ethnicities. Australian officials responded by warning citizens about arbitrary detentions. Then the dispute went from verbal to economic. In November, China unofficially implemented numerous trade actions, from restricting shipments to slapping hefty duties on Australian products. While it was not official, local media outlets reported that importers and exporters would be better off avoiding the imports of log timber and lobsters, as well as sugar, copper, coal, wine, and barley from Australia due to possible delays in clearing customs. Some industry observers believe wheat will be the next target. Also, the latest report suggests that 9,000 liters of beer and 8,000 kilograms of other products were stopped at Chinese ports. So far, the Australian government has not retaliated, but domestic policymakers are deliberating how to react. Members of Parliament are proposing subsidies for manufacturing and the start of a new Buy Australian Act. A backbench policy committee paper proposed direct protective action to support the development of domestic businesses in these strategic sectors. Policymakers are urging leaders to mirror the United States, employing controversial tariffs to stimulate the industrial and manufacturing sectors. How much is this affecting the Australian economy in the end? According to government estimates, the Chinese trade dispute has cost Australia approximately $3 billion in lost exports. Still, Australia has been fighting other markets as its export industry is surprisingly booming, even with a trade war hanging over the country's head. Meanwhile, the World Trade Organization has failed to rein in China's behavior, concluding that the nation's anti-dumping duty of more than 80% in Australian barley exports was fine. The only thing China, they say, could have done differently is lower the duty a bit more. Will Canberra eventually call a truce? Probably not. Prime Minister Morrison has stated that it would not concede an inch that threatens Australia's values. Morrison stated that Australia is even willing to increase trade, particularly iron ore, during the tense war of words. But Beijing says it is time for its trading partner to, quote, reflect on its own deeds. In the end, basic economics will rule the day, since, according to Goldman Sachs, both countries are too reliant on each other to abandon trade. That's it for me this week. Please read my full Swamponomics column, where I discuss the rebranding and failure of Mr. Potato Head, another bubble in the art market, and Fed Chair Jerome Powell's blindness or mendacity toward inflation. Thank you.
Go deeper on the topic discussed in this video, head on over to one of these links here or go to our Liberty Nation Roku channel. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for Liberty.